New champion. Elena Rybakina wins the 2026 Australian Open, dethroning Aryna Sabalenka. Elena Rybakina etched her name into tennis history with a gutsy victory in the Australian Open final over world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka. Details. In a dramatic three-set battle, 6-4, 4-6, 6-4, the Kazakh star pulled off a stunning comeback in the deciding set, rallying from 0-3 down. This marks Rybakina's second Grand Slam trophy, following her landmark Wimbledon triumph in 2022. Rybakina's stats this season have been nothing short of intimidating for her rivals. After her title run in Ningbo, she reeled off 20 wins with only a single defeat, to Muchova in Brisbane. What's more, Rybakina is now just the sixth player this century to notch 10 or more consecutive victories over WTA top 10 opponents, joining the likes of Serena and Venus Williams, Justine Henin, Amelie Mauresmo, and Iga Swiatek. Since the introduction of the WTA rankings in 1975, only the Williams sisters have more often defeated both the world number 1 and number 2 at a single tournament. Elena has now accomplished this feat 3 times, showcasing phenomenal mental strength against the tour's biggest favorites. This Australian triumph capped off a flawless stretch. Rybakina didn't drop a single set in the tournament until the final showdown. Reminder, Carlos Alcaraz became the world's top 5-set match player with a 15-1 record. The quiet storm, Elena Rybakina and the night Melbourne changed. Melbourne has seen many queens crowned beneath its burning January sky, but on one particular night in 2026, the crown passed not with fireworks and fury, but with calm, precision, and an almost eerie inevitability. Elena Rybakina had come for it. Across the net stood Aryna Sabalenka, the reigning Australian Open champion, all power and presence, the embodiment of raw force. She had ruled Rod Laver Arena with thunder, her ground strokes cracking like summer lightning, her roars echoing into the rafters. She was the champion to beat, the woman who had learned how to win here. But Rybakina did not believe in intimidation. She believed in timing, in geometry, in silence. And in that silence, a new champion was born. The weight of the crown. Sabalenka entered the final carrying the expectations of dominance. The talk around Melbourne Park all fortnight had been familiar. Who could stop her? Her path to the final had been brutal and efficient. She had crushed defenses, absorbed pressure, and turned matches into statements. Rybakina's journey, by contrast, had been quieter, but no less deadly. She moved through the draw like a shadow slipping between floodlights. No theatrics. No declarations. Just serves that kissed the lines, returns that robbed opponents of breath, and a calm expression that never cracked. Analysts spoke of her as a dangerous outsider, a phrase she had heard her entire career. Outsider. Dangerous. Almost until now. When power meets precision. The first ball of the final told the story. Sabalenka unleashed a forehand that would have ended points against anyone else. Rybakina slid into position, absorbed the pace, and redirected it down the line with surgical accuracy. The rally ended not with a roar, but with silence, and then applause. This would not be a match decided by who hit harder. It would be decided by who blinked first. Sabalenka struck first blood, her aggression carving out the opening set. The crowd surged with her, feeding on her energy, her fire, her refusal to yield. Yet even as the set slipped away, Rybakina did not change. No racket smash. No visible frustration. Only adjustment. The stillness before control. The second set was where the air shifted. Rybakina's serve became untouchable, wide on the deuce side, flat down the tee, always just out of reach. Sabalenka pressed harder, swinging bigger, searching for dominance. But power without margin is a dangerous gamble. Unforced errors crept in. One break, then another. Each time Sabalenka roared, Rybakina answered not with emotion, but with placement. The court began to feel smaller for the defending champion, larger for the challenger. When Rybakina closed out the set with an ace that barely grazed the line, the match stood balanced, but the momentum had shifted. And Sabalenka knew it. The final set, where champions are revealed. The third set was not loud. It was tense. Long rallies unfolded like chess matches played at full sprint. Sabalenka fought, clawed, refused to surrender the throne without a battle. She saved break points with fearless strikes, daring the tennis gods to choose. But Rybakina had entered a rare state. One athletes speak of in whispers. Time slowed. Decisions became instinct. Every ball arrived exactly where she expected it. At 4-3, the moment came. A Sabalenka forehand sailed long by inches. Break point. The stadium held its breath. Rybakina stepped up, tossed the ball, and served without hesitation. Sabalenka returned deep. The rally stretched. Then, one backhand, clean and flat, threading the needle down the line. And suddenly, the crown was within reach. Match point. Championship points are strange creatures. Some players chase them. Others let them come. Rybakina waited. On match point, Sabalenka went for everything, one last explosion of will and power. The ball came fast, heavy, desperate. Rybakina met it early, redirecting it cross-court with devastating calm. Sabalenka lunged. For a heartbeat, there was silence. Then the roar arrived, crashing down like a wave finally breaking. Elena Rybakina dropped her racket, hands covering her face, not in disbelief, but in release. She had done it. A new champion rises. As she lifted the Daphne-accursed Memorial Cup, the Melbourne sun catching its curves, Rybakina stood not as a surprise champion, but as a complete one. No longer the nearly woman. No longer the quiet threat. She had dethroned a reigning queen on her strongest stage. Sabalenka, gracious in defeat, watched from the sidelines, knowing she had not been beaten by chance, but by clarity. This final would be remembered not for drama, but for mastery. For the night power met precision, and precision won. And in the long history of the Australian Open, a new chapter was written. Not in fire, but in ice-cold brilliance.